Welcome back, everybody. I'm here to introduce our third exercise, which is called wash rag. This exercise is going to address cross-pattern or rotational patterns of tension in the body. This exercise is a little bit more complex, so I'm going to break this exercise down into upper body, lower body, and then how to put those two together. As you're practicing on your own, independent of this video, you can continue with that where you focus on upper body, lower body, and then put them together. But once you have this felt sense of this exercise, you can always just skip to the full body expression where the upper body and the lower body are working at the same time. Okay? So, as usual, let's make our way onto our backs. Laying out long. Setting the way you meet the floor, the way that you experience gravity, and how readily your body can relax with gravity into the floor. Take a couple nice deep breaths just to notice how your breath is moving. Okay, and then as you're ready, you're going to bend both knees, plant both feet flat on the floor. So we're going to start with the upper body. And in this first movement, what I want you to do is take your right shoulder. You're going to curl your right shoulder both towards the ceiling, and I also want you to think about it as if you were moving the front of your right shoulder towards your left hip. Okay? Now as I'm doing that, I'm also going to press my left shoulder slightly back towards the floor. So my shoulders are really going in opposite directions. And then I'm going to slowly release that. So that means on the left side, there's activation releasing on the back body, and on the right side, there's activation releasing on the front body. Once that's released, then I'm going to go the other way. I'm curling the left shoulder towards the ceiling, and I'm pressing the right shoulder back. And then slowly release. One challenge with this is that if you try to do the exercise too big, meaning it's like a big gross movement, if I pull my right shoulder forward a whole lot, it can inhibit my left shoulder. So you might need to do a smaller movement, really study the way that both pieces can move. Don't let one piece dominate the other. Okay? So alternating back and forth like this is the pattern in the upper body, letting the head rotate as it can passively. Okay. Now once you've got that pattern of the upper body set, then we're going to go into the lower body. And here this is going to be a movement at the level of the pelvis. The legs will move as well, but we're looking to have the pelvis and the abdomen drive this movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my knees kind of tip a little bit to the left. So now as my knees tip to the left, this right pelvic calf is kind of coming up, and I can feel a little bit of a contraction in my right belly, right, to pull that pelvic calf up. And then I'm going to let the pelvis come back down. And then I'm going to let my knees go to the left, or excuse me, to the right. And I can feel the right belly turning on a bit as the pelvis rolls. Now you might notice I'm not going into the biggest twist that I possibly can. It would actually be counterproductive for my body because what I'm trying to feel is how my trunk can organize this. This isn't about getting the legs into a big stretch. Okay? So once I've gone back and forth a couple times and I can feel the abdominals turning on down here in the low belly as I go, then I'm going to put these pieces together. And what's going to happen here is that the lower body and the upper body are going to be moving opposite directions essentially. So I'll verbalize building us into this. So I'm going to curl my right shoulder towards the ceiling and towards the left hip. As I do that, the left shoulder presses back. As that happens, I'm going to let my knees tip to the right. So I'm looking to feel a cross pattern from the right chest all the way to the left low belly. And I can even feel a bit of a pattern from the back left shoulder to the right low back. And then I'm going to let myself unwind out of that. Then I'm going to go the other way. Left shoulder curls forward, right shoulder presses back. Pelvis and knees tip now to the left. So I've got left chest to right low belly, right upper back to left low back. A little tip is that whatever shoulder's going forward, so if my right shoulder goes forward, my knees and pelvis are going to rotate to the right. So that might help you coordinate this as you're going. And I'm going to alternate back and forth, going into the contraction pattern, slowly releasing. As usual, you can repeat this as many times as feels useful, depending on the length of time that you have available, and the mental bandwidth that you've got available. Even out the pattern, and when you're done, you're going to lay back out. Take some time checking in, noticing your breath, and tracking for any differences or changes.